سلام دوستان عزیز، نوشین نیکفرجام هستم در برنامه دانش و آگاهی در تلویزیون عصر امروز. امیدوارم هر جای دنیا که هستین خوب و خوش و سلامت و سرحال باشین. امروز یک مهمون بسیار عزیز دارم به اسم آقای دکتر بن توبیا. سلام شد.
سلام.
خیلی ممنون که اومدی.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. باز به خاطر اینکه ما راجع به هوموسکشوالیتی و اطلاعاتی که میخوایم راجعش بدیم یه مقداری راحت‌تری که به انگلیسی صحبت کرد، با دکتر توبیا به انگلیسی صحبت خواهم کرد. ازتون معذرت میخوام. باز هم طبق معمول چون چند تا درخواست شده که یکی از برنامه ها رو به زودی به فارسی هم اجرا خواهیم کرد. اگر دوست دارین این برنامه هم به فارسی باشه حتما به من یک پیغامی بدین. در هر صورت از الان به بعد برنامه به انگلیسی خواهد بود. So, welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting my invitation after like 2-3 months. I've been waiting and waiting.
I'm sorry it took so
No,
long.
that's good. It's the best timing because when my other guest came, you know her, Shartlet Bakhtiari, she's your mom's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking that it was Pride Month.
Yeah.
And as clueless as I am, I didn't know. And it was like, oh my God, most of my program, or actually all my program this month is on LGBTQ plus community. So it's
serendipitous coincidence.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to read your bio. And then, as I told you before, your bio has very interesting things in it. Before I go to questions, I'm going to ask you questions about what you really do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because that's very important. I mean, your title is huge. I mean, when it's going to come, you're doing so many different things. So it's very important for our viewers to understand that, and if they want to contact you, they know, you know, who to go to for whatever challenge they're going through right now. So Dr. Ben Toubia is a licensed marriage and family therapist and holds a Doctor of Psychology, Psych D. He currently serves as an associate professor at the Chicago School and maintains a clinical practice in California, where he works with individuals, couples, and families as they explore new and non-traditional ways of moving through and experiencing life. Dr. Toubia specializes in complex relational dynamics, mental health, identity transformation, and the intersection of cultural identity. He brings a deeply empathetic, culturally informed perspective to conversations about relationships, helping families and helping families navigate difficult transitions, foster understanding, and build stronger, more authentic and personalized connections. So, first of all, tell me, what is complex relational dynamics that you work on?
So, you know, if I was going to break down all these different licenses for doing clinical work, MFTs you could think of as systems people. We see kind of networks around people and relationships. The building blocks of those systems are the relationships, the in-between, like, you know, between two people or two things. Because of the way I just see life and see kind of, you know, how we construct our identities and our relationships, there are a lot of circles. Right. There are a lot of networks. And so when you say complex relational dynamics, it's really just this acknowledgement that we don't live in this simple little kind of world. We have actually many, many systems that are overlapping and interacting and affecting everything. And we really work hard in our sessions to acknowledge and then to leverage all of those systems and relationships to create the shift that we need.
Okay. How do you come about that? Do you have a questionnaire, or do you ask them questions? Do they just come up with themselves and tell you, I have this and that, and then you think about the complexity of that relationship or what the dynamics?
So I have my starting off point, right? So there's a list of areas, depending on if it's an individual or a couple or a family. There's a list of areas that I know, no matter what, I need information about these specific areas of their life. And you know, if you look at the standard like clinical assessment, I think it's the most basic document. I think it captures not even 10% of what I want to know. Right. So I have my own like more robust, you know, way of asking the things that are important for me to understand about the people I work with. And you know, I do a lot of work on the front end to let my clients know before they start with me who I am, how I work, and what the experience is like. Because I show up, probably I might ask you really personal things really quickly, and I don't expect you to feel comfortable because you don't know who I am. But I put it all out there so then I can get the person I'm working with to give me the information so I could be at their pace, right? And that's, I think, something that's really important. As a clinician, I'm not ahead of them. I am, if anything, behind, trying to catch up as quickly as I can because they have all the information that I need to be of service to them. And so I know how to get as close to them as I know I can, and then I ask them to help me get even closer so I could be beside them.
Perfect. Thank you. And you do identity transformation. So what is that about? That's about really not liking the word change, because I don't think change is a good word. I really I love the word transformation because it's a shift into something new that didn't exist before. It incorporates more than what previously was, and I think we're always in a state of transformation. Definitely.
And the identity part is really just an acknowledgement that we hold so many identities at any given time, and depending on where we are, some of those are like prioritized above others, and then in a different setting that might fall below another one. And so they're shifting always as we go through the day. And so how they shift, how they interact, how we feel about the fact that we're shifting them is a really challenging thing for a lot of people, especially people who are trying to make sense of life outside of common ways of moving through life.
Okay, thank you. And intersection of cultural identity. So besides that transformation, we have cultural identity.
Well, so, you know, I think, at least for me growing up, I was taught that I am this, I am that, and I am that. Yeah. And it was not a very basic way of trying to understand myself. As an adult, I am this, that, this, that, this. I am so many more things than just those basic things. And my personal experience growing up was I was always two things that never made sense to somebody else. So I was never treated how I felt I was, and I was never acknowledged. And so I wasn't treated the way other people identified, and I didn't feel like the way I felt was acknowledged. And so I was always in this in-between space, which has given me a very nice lens, because I don't feel like I'm really in anything, I'm between things. And I found that that's a very useful tool in working with other people who are in the middle of shifting or understanding different parts of themselves.
So how many kids are in your family? How many siblings?
3.
And you're the oldest?
Yeah.
So when did you come out? I didn't ask you that before. It came
Can I ask you to what you mean by coming out?
When did you find out that you have tendencies or towards another man or somebody from your own gender? Is that the right word? Because you have to go to that.
Yeah. So I mean, I told you I can be very long-winded, so I'm going to try and keep it simple. Yeah. I don't think I ever found out. I think it was a process of acknowledging and realizing, and then coming to terms with who I am.
Okay.
And because it's not like something that you just like wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I'm interested in this. It's like a evolution, because as a child you don't realize that a lot of what you think and what you prefer and what you are attracted to is shaped by the people who have raised you.
Of course, the environment is number one.
But you don't own it, right?
Yeah.
You feel like you own it, but it's not yours to own necessarily as a kid. And so when you're growing up outside of that framework, it becomes really difficult, because a lot of the things that you might start to realize are not necessarily things that you see are accepted around you, or like in my case, no one ever said that being gay was bad, but no one ever, there was no examples, right? So I wasn't ever told this is bad. It just didn't exist in my life and in my ecosystem. So I just associated it as like, my family wants what's good for me. This doesn't show up here, so it must not be a thing that is good. And so that was the challenge. I came out, I acknowledged my sexuality to myself around maybe 21. Even though I had experiences before, I didn't know what they were. I told my family, my immediate family, at 23, and that was only when I acknowledged to myself that I have the capacity to love another person who identifies as a man.
So, this is like a school today. He's my professor. I keep learning new terms and new things, so thank you.
That's my pleasure.
Yeah. So, who was the first person you told? That was your family or friends, or?
Growing up in a world that was not as supportive as maybe it is today, and it wasn't that long ago. Yeah. Maybe
20 years? No,
19
less.
years ago.
19,
I came
yeah.
out. I made the really dumb decision of getting all of them to show up at the same place at the same time, telling them all of these things that they didn't know about me all at once, that are, probably traumatic to hear all at once in a very abrasive way, and then I walked out of the room.
Jesus, okay.
I don't think I handled that the best way.
So how many people fainted there?
Nobody fainted.
No,
I think that we didn't acknowledge the conversation for a couple of months.
Okay.
And then that became a problem. So I forced the acknowledgement, and then a lot of things happened, ups and downs, and there just wasn't any support for any of us.
Right.
And then I think one of the most beautiful things happened is after several years, my mom specifically wanted this. She went and created something with the help of clinicians to create a supportive space for her. Okay. And I really believe that parents, especially Persian parents, because of the way that they are been culturally brought up, can benefit from support around this particular topic if it rises up in their families. Right.
And your mom created this support group, and I was there as a guest, and it was like amazing. I mean, you see the transformation in people and how difficult it has been for each and every person, and then how they started accepting the fact that I have 1 or 2 or 3 gay kids. Yep. Basically, some of them had 3, I think, in the group. And in the next few months and weeks, I'm going to have some of those ladies come back, and maybe their kids. Next week is with one of the kids.
I mean, just for a moment, how amazing is that? Yeah. These families went from not knowing how to even think about what they were going through to now being so proud of their own process and their kids that they're willing to now come and celebrate it and talk about their journey. I mean, this
is amazing. Honestly, this is really amazing, because the gay movement was in the 80s when I was my son is 39.
Yeah.
He was 2 years old. I remember that was the first time that it really hit. And I lived up north next to, in El Cerrito, that was very close to San Francisco. So it was like a major thing. Out of a sudden, everybody talking about it. That, it was very hush-hush. And now I understand that a lot of people still have difficulty accepting the fact that their child is not heterosexual, basically. But, that's the way the acceptance is rising. Every day.
Of course, all of this was birthed out of my mom's experience with me, but I secretly, wish that there was something like this for my family back when we were going through this. She constantly asked me to participate in this, and I knew this was not a space. I didn't want this to be a space for me. It was a space for her, and I really, I kind of maintained that boundary. But I've seen a lot of the kids come up to her and just say thank you to her for what they are doing, what they've created.
Right.
And that to me was a big transition point in knowing how my parents felt about what we went through.
So, question is, did any of your parents accept this a little bit easier? I don't know how to say it.
I don't know if the word accept is the word I would use. I think from memory, what I remember is my dad's telling me he wasn't raised in a world that acknowledged same-sex love.
Right.
And so he had no framework for understanding the concept. And he asked me for time. I think my mom really defaulted to, this is my child. I love them. I have no idea what's happening right now, but I know I love them. And that carried her through all of that. I think before then, my standard for how families treated and dealt with these situations was the child would tell the family and then leave the family.
Yeah.
And be estranged from the family for months, if not years, and then at some point come back and rebuild something after years. That was never an option for me, because all I was raised was to think that family is the most important thing. So my mentality was, I am going to put it so in your face, and it's going to be hard, and we're not going to like it, but I'm going to stay here until something happens. That's also my personality.
That's amazing. Okay.
One more thing I want to add to this is one of the things that we say is, coming out.
Right.
The process of coming out begins inside the individual when it begins, but it's a process that they have to go through to actually feel confident to come out, but only then does the coming out process begin for the family.
Yeah, that's like, the family has to come out too.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I have a couple of questions about gender identity, sexuality, binary, non-binary.
Yes.
Let's do that after I ask my other questions.
Okay.
Because you just touched upon something else. So, you're talking about, why exactly does it mean for someone to come out? Just what you started right now, and why does it require so much courage? Because I know Arya Marvazi was here, and he said that it's going to be very difficult for some kids to come out, and I think that you're giving me the answer since he's not here right now. So
you have to think about the words coming out, right? It means to leave something, and to enter something else. And so when you think about it conceptually about identity and gender or sexuality, it's really about leaving this framework, identity framework that you are in, and entering a new one.
Right.
Well, if you look at identity, right? Identity is something that is constructed in you by everything around you and you at the same time. who you think you are is just a collection of your experiences and how you're taught to think about them. And so we'll take gender identity for example, right? Gender is a type of identity that we use to classify people, right? But gender identity is not a thing. It's not real in terms of like this is gender, right? It is a concept, and that concept is constructed by the people and the cultures around the world, and it actually differs. The definition of some of the words that we used to associate with gender identity, they are different from culture to culture, right? They're different from country to country. They're different from decade to decade, and so they shift. We just are only here for, hopefully 120 years, right? But you're only here for a small little chunk of time, right? You don't get to see the transition of some of these definitions over time. So coming out means to leave one framework and enter another one. Well, a lot of things in our lives depend on a common definition for identities, right? If the bathroom, for example, right? The bathroom, people who identify this way go there, and the other ones who go there, right? That's a very big, important designation that is based on something that is not real.
And we always nag because women have to stay in line, and men's lines are shorter.
Yes, but this is also the center of the entire conversation around, how do we kind of create bathrooms in shared spaces, and how do we create them so they're safe for everybody, or comfortable for everybody, and so a lot depends on them. So that means just even the idea of having to step outside of one comes with a lot of risk. I have to risk a lot to break out of something and go into something that I don't even know and understand. And so coming out takes courage, because you are leaving the supposed comfort, right? But the familiar, you're leaving the familiar, even though the familiar might be painful, for the unknown of something different. And one of the things that we're really good at is putting people in a state of fear about the unknown. So stay in this thing that's hurting you, because you don't know what more hurt is going to happen to you over there. And that just takes me back to something that my dad said to me, because he didn't have that framework. Right? He said, I don't know how to help you anymore. When a parent says something like that to a kid, it's a big deal. Even though I knew it was a big deal, because I was like, my dad loves helping, or being there. And so that really kind of hurt me to hear him feel like he had nothing else to offer me. I just had to, re-plug in. I was like, no, everything still applies. It's just going to be with a person that cannot have a baby. But I could still have a baby. I can still get married. I still need advice on how to fall in love, and how to have, how to raise a family, and all these things. All that still applies.
Yeah. So, do you have a partner right now?
I do not.
Oh, okay. So another bachelor. So you're the third person who is single. No, actually, a lot of my guests are single, and I bring them here.
I don't know. I think there's something about it being a relationship therapist. I think I'm just always in transition.
All right. So why is it often so difficult for families, particularly in the Persian community, to understand or accept when a loved one comes out? Besides the fact that you say that we don't have, a lot of us might not have that frame of mind, or we weren't brought up with that fact, or that this is a part of life. I mean, I think since I have had gay friends for many years, and I was very comfortable with them. It's like my gay friend, he understood me better than sometimes my husband, so I could talk to him. And then he was a man, at the same time, I didn't feel like, oh, I'm talking to a real, man. So, because there is no basically love relationship. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very platonic and real love between you two when you're,
Platonic intimacy instead of romantic intimacy.
Right. So, I mean, my kids are straight, but if one day one of them comes out and say, I'm gay or lesbian, I don't know if I'm going to have any problems with that. I mean, it's like, okay.
I mean, and
that's the way you are, and you identify as so. But I don't know how it is with a lot of other people, because it's very difficult.
I appreciate the I don't know part, because it's also acknowledging that there may still be things that might.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I think one of the things that everybody needs to remember is for the majority of non-heterosexual individuals, they are birthed by heterosexual parents.
Yeah.
Right? So the parents just don't know what's going to come up, because they don't live that life. So they've never had to actually wrap their heads around what the differences are.
Right.
And that's what we call that privilege. Right? When you grow up in a world that's designed for you, you don't notice all the things that you notice when it's not designed for you. And so it's really important to always hold those realities. Hopefully for most people, when a child reveals something about themselves to the parent will honor that moment and say, thank you so much for sharing who you are with me. I get to know you better.
Right.
I think that's lost a lot of the time among the shock of hearing what it is that the child might be sharing. The other thing is if you have been taught about these concepts, but you've been taught to fear them or to think that they're wrong, that shock is also often associated with anger, fear, and wrongness. And I don't know any parents who are comfortable with their kids being something that they were taught they shouldn't be. And so a lot of that initial kind of I would say challenging energy comes from that kind of instinctual, you can't be, because I was taught that this thing is not good, and now you're telling me that you're this thing. Parents should always reflect on what they think. First of all, I don't believe that there's anything bad. And, I don't judge life in that way. Things are either beneficial or challenging in society when you identify them. And so I think people need to stop judging things, right? And talk about the benefits and challenges that come from just living life in these ways. And challenging doesn't mean bad.
Of course it's not bad. It's just that we are not educated about it.
Yes, so. And this is everybody, every country, every society is at such a different level in understanding these things. There are different forces in society kind of slowing the information down depending on the kind of what's important to some communities, but it's getting out there. It's just everybody's at a different pace, and when you have a diaspora that's spread all over the world, like Persians are, you're going to see it popping up, and the comfort and the support popping up differently in different spaces.
I think social media and movies and all that right now, they are opening people's minds and eyes, basically, to the fact of more acceptance. I think that has helped in the past 40 years, basically. After what was the movie that came out? Milk? No, what was it?
Movie about what?
The gay movement, the very famous.
Well, there was Harvey Milk. So Milk.
Yeah. So that was like a huge eye opener.
Yeah.
In movies and series, right now we see a lot of people who show gays and homosexual love and all that. So it's getting a little bit easier, maybe.
So I always
to understand.
I always love this because we always say one of the biggest forms of solidarity is visibility. So being out there, just being you and being visible is an act of solidarity, is an act of protest. Like just being who you are and being out is one of the most one of the most advocacy things that you can do. Just because you don't know who is seeing you that might benefit from seeing. Like I said, I didn't grow up around any of it, so I didn't see anybody. Right? If I just had maybe one person, right, that would be made a world of difference to me. But it comes with a double-edged sword. Social media is great for visibility.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say, the other side of social media is we also have to be mindful not to assume that that what we see is the entirety of some of these identities. And I say that because, one of the things my mom said to me, she goes, after I came out, was, you're not this type of gay, you're this type of gay. And I said, I am neither. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard.
But because in her mind, she was still, trying to wrap her head around the concept. So she was trying to put me into a box because we understand things by putting things into nice little boxes. Well, we forget that everything is messy before it's in a box. So, like for all social media, right? It is just, these people are versions of things, right? They're not the thing. And so I say that because, I want to often dissociate that being gay or being identifying as a lesbian or identifying as transgender means a very specific thing and only shows up in that specific way. There are gay people who, nobody would ever assume their sexual identity, which I don't think anybody should ever assume anybody's sexual identity, but because they are passing in that culture. And so this is especially important because your sexual identity is not something that you have to share with people. It's something that is inside you that you get to share with people. And so it means it's invisible, which means I can hide it.
Right.
And that means I can damage myself over and over again because I'm the one keeping that part of me down.
Very true.
Which is especially hurtful.
Okay. So, anything particular in Persian community that can help our viewers? I mean, even though this video is going to be shown all over the world and all cultures are going to be watching this because of the way I send it everywhere. So, but since we're in our community, the Persian community, I'm just saying Persian community, it can relate to anyone actually.
So I'll address this more from a systems, right? The best way to create change is to start with the individual, and then the more individuals that start to shift, then the systems around them are forced to shift.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. Changing society is not something that can happen overnight, and it's not something that I think that my experience of the Persian community is going to happen overnight. I mean, Persians are we're very proud, and we are every right to be right. We are a long history, and we've been on this planet for very long time, and we have a very strong community. But that community is based in tradition and has very deep roots, and you can't shift something that has deep roots very quickly. So I think what I would say is people need to just educate themselves. They have to realize that what they've been taught is not everything. It's just a version of something, and there's so much more around it that they get to learn, and to understand that sexuality and gender identity and gender expression and biological sex are all different things, and they have different words to talk about them.
That's another session already.
Yes, it can feel to the person very overwhelming and exhausting in the beginning. It's not that complicated, right?
Okay.
It is just conceptually kind of more complex than you might initially have thought. And, you know, when things have too many parts, we often get scared. It's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Right? We often get scared, but then once we get comfortable with it, we're like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And so just be open to learning and just know that the more you know, the more you'll realize all of us are really the same and we want the same things. And it doesn't matter who the person next to you loves. The love is still experienced the same way.
Yeah. Thank you. So how does the pressure to hide one's sexuality impact an individual's mental health and their relationship with their family?
Oh, so...
I know, I mean, physical health, definitely I think it's going to have a result on because
yes.
Whatever we hide is going to create some kind of a dis-ease in our body.
Yes.
So,
and I think, you know, if you want the best book that I found so far that kind of just really kind of makes that argument is The Body Keeps Score.
The Body Keeps Score. By whom?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Van Holt. And
okay.
I think I'm not good with authors. I have
Okay,
bad memory with authors, but good memory with the title. But The Body Keeps Score, and that's just really about the fact that your body is going to experience. This says the physical experience of everything that your mind goes through, and your mind goes through a lot. Your mind is a machine that's trying to make sense of things, and so it's burning a lot of calories. And so, like I said, when you're able to hide your identity because it's invisible, and you get to decide who gets to know and who doesn't, that means there's a lot of power that comes with the sharing of this, but also it's a high risk, right? And if you know that if I share this part of myself, I will experience pain, I will experience suffering, the people around me will experience pain and suffering, I will be seen as bad, or if there's ever a negative association, and I mean, would you do something if you know it was associated with something? No, but nobody does. And so the reason why courage is there is because you have to step into that fire and accept the unknown of what's going to happen just to support yourself.
Right.
The reason why it's so difficult for families is, like we said earlier, is often the parents don't know.
Yeah.
They're caught off guard. Or they may have suspected something, but I just want to squash that one. Technically, nobody can know something before the person knows, and so, but they can assume based off of like other things. They can have educated guess, but it's still a shock, right? And the family has to deal with that. And again, if you're in a society that says it's bad or it's not right or all of those things, or even if it's not associated with privilege, right? It can often be seen as something to keep away, hide, and so. Again, when we're hiding something, you experience it in your body.
Yeah.
And then you have to create all of these. I remember in my life, I had so many different people who knew some things and not everything. I had so many different stories I was managing. I didn't even have the capacity to like deal with any new things because my mind was constantly trying to memorize all these stories so I wouldn't say the wrong thing in front of the wrong person. It's exhausting.
But now you're fine and.
I think I have one story that I keep telling, right? That's who I am. And then I always tell people that's incomplete and I'm still rewriting it. So you're only getting a draft. I reserve the right to change my story whenever I want.
That's true. But I mean, I think based on my talks with you during the past week, you're so knowledgeable and you're educating as you go. Doesn't matter who you're talking to. So that's very important. That's a huge step because I believe that if I can change one person's life in this world, I've done my job, and I think you're doing that in a very big, vast area too. So
I appreciate
this
that.
Is amazing.
I appreciate that. I've come across two types of people, right? The people who go to, I'm going to use some academic terms. The person who is subjugated, right? So the person with less power, who goes to their oppressor, the people who have more power, to educate them. Often it's very difficult work.
Right.
And then there are the people who say, it's not my job to teach anybody anything, and I'm going to live my life, and I'm not going to be worried about what they know.
Mm-hmm.
They just cannot have the decision to do any. They can't take away my rights.
Right.
So, I mean, and both are right, both are correct, both are acceptable, right? They're just different ways of showing up. I'm a people person. I like relationships, I like connecting, and I like creating an environment around me filled with people who I believe also care about and love the things that are important to me.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, what advice do you have for parents who have just learned that their child is gay and are struggling to process it?
The first thing I would say is take a deep breath, exhale. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed at all. You learned a piece of new information. You just learned it. So stop trying to make sense of everything. Right? It's almost like that one piece opened up a floodgate. No, relax. It's just a piece of information. It really, you're going to realize, doesn't make that big of a difference.
Right.
I said, depending on where you are, it might make more or less of a difference, but just take a deep breath. That person who just told you that information is still the exact same person you thought they were 5 minutes before. And you really don't know how this is going to change anything, or if it will change anything. But one of the things you get to acknowledge right now is, wow, that person just shared something really important about themselves with you. That's really special.
Right.
And acknowledge it. Say thank you for letting me get to know you a bit better than I did before. And realize that it took a lot for that person to come say that to you. And feel special. Feel special.
Yeah, that you know something important about someone.
Yeah.
And they don't share it with a lot of people.
It's okay for it to still be scary.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay for it to be a lot of questions that are unknown. I would say if you're a parent, realize you probably didn't know what you were doing when you had your kid the first time. So this is just another situation where you probably might not know too much about what you're doing again. I know that's not very comfortable as a parent. But it's okay. You made it through this point. You can make it through the next one. And surround yourself by people who also can hold that kind of energy. Right? Don't put yourself around other people who are talking about things that in a negative way. Right?
Or they feel sorry for you because.
Listen, it's not a. There's nothing to feel sorry for.
No,
I can tell you that.
It's like, because I've heard that poor you, that. I mean, parents,
what's funny is I've come so far to the other side that when people are living traditional lives, I personally I go poor you because there's so much more.
True.
There's so much more to life than just the one way that we're all taught to live it.
Okay. Let me.
Yes, I know.
How much time do we have? Because I have at least 4 questions.
I told you this was going to happen.
10, 15. All right. Okay. So, one question is, you don't work exclusively with the LGBTQ plus families or community.
No.
Okay. So with everyone.
I work with everyone. Okay. I would say the common thing is all of my clients feel like they're shifting into something or that they want to, right? So that's what brings them, that's what people are attracted to, that gets them to pick up the phone and call me. Right now my practice is full of people who don't identify it's full of people who identify as heterosexual.
Okay.
And we're exploring different ways of being in relationships and partnerships. And so that's what I'm currently, is the majority of my, but it fluctuates. I get all kinds of people trying to live all kinds of lives.
Right. What do you teach at the university?
I teach diversity.
Okay.
So I teach a lot about kind of honoring the complexity
Mm-hmm.
of who we are, but also how to assess it and really explore it as a clinician, because you need to know how to ask the questions to get the information.
Right.
And then I teach history of systems, because if you think about Western education, it's through a Western lens, and I'm a big proponent of that's just one way of looking at something. Like, I want to see what the different parts of the world and different cultures, and I grew up American and Persian, so I know that Persian culture sees things in a very different way than American. I mean, I think it's most obvious right now. We experience life differently, and so there's a lot of wisdom that comes from everywhere. And then I teach a lot of things.
Okay. Classes are online or live or both?
Classes are on ground in California, in Southern California, and then they also have a online program that we just started.
Okay. And in the online program, you still teach all of these, or it depends on I'm
contracted as an on-ground professor, and so I teach on-ground classes, but I design classes that go in both modalities, and so even if you don't get me, you'll get my energy in the courses I've designed.
All right. Next question is the myth of choice. Is this a choice, or, do you consider yourself gay, or what do you call yourself, and what's your pronoun, actually? I was going to ask you that.
So when I'm being asked these questions, I always answer it in a specific way.
Okay.
I use my own terms.
Okay.
But I also see these questions as a way to help other people feel comfortable.
Okay.
Right? So I use terms that other people understand so that they feel comfortable. So my pronouns are he, him, his.
Okay.
And for the sake of other people's understanding, I'm living a gay life, so I tell people I'm gay. If you're asking me how I identify, I'm a pleasure seeker. I go towards things that make me feel good. And so I have been with individuals who identify as women, and cisgender women, and I've been with individuals who identify as cisgender men, right? Not because I am bisexual, or I'm gay, or I'm straight. I just gravitate towards people's energy, and I think there's a word for that. I think they call that demisexual. But
demisexual?
That's
like
one? Or sapiosexual. I'm not too in tune with my words, but there's about at least 26 different words now to talk about sexuality.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's make it more complicated.
No, it's like, now I have to go and think, what am I? Am I a woman? It's like,
what do you even allow yourself to even consider is another question.
Yeah, and raised and born a girl or woman, but I would like to dress up as a man sometimes, like at in costume parties, and experience that. But that's just like once in a blue moon. But I
think there's a rich culture of doing that in Persian community.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm looking at Instagram, there are some really entertaining videos that I've seen coming from some creators in Iran about I won't call it cross-dressing, but they're wearing garments of the opposite gender. Usually it's traditional. It looks like traditional.
I don't know. I mean, I look at those and I see like men with beard and mustache, and now they have all this makeup and the dance outfits. But I don't know if I can take them serious.
I mean,
as a cross-dresser, are they a cross-dresser or a transvestite, they call them?
What are you trying to take seriously, though? Like, what is the message that you're trying to...
No, when you say that you see this coming from Iran, so many... I know they're trying to send a message. I look at the message that's coming through, not the way they look at that time when they're videotaping themselves.
Well, that's funny because I don't look at that and see them as particularly trying to send a message at all about kind of how they're dressed.
No, not how they're dressed. Usually they are sending a message, especially these days, everything is about politics. So they were talking about freedom of Iran, and this is a guy who is like with all the men features that he has, and then he has extreme makeup and women dresses, and he's dancing, and he's giving you the message of freedom. But is that something, real, or is just the message is important, not the way he's dressing? You know what I mean?
So I think I take a more simplistic view of what I see on social media. I don't assume that any message is being there that is subliminal, and there might be. I'm just saying I don't assume it. I just look at something, and then if I know that there's a lot of risk to put something like that out there in the community that person's coming from, that's the message that I am like, oh my God, that can be really have a challenging experience following. That could be really challenging for that person once they put this out there. Wow, I am so kind of proud for that person that they are putting themselves into that. And often, like for a lot of these people, it's often met with some very difficult realities, and that's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. But I celebrate their courage.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I do too. I don't judge them. That's what I'm saying, because we all have a tendency of judging people for the way they look and dress and do and talk and walk or whatever. But that's what I'm saying, that the message that comes out is so important that my mind doesn't even go to that if this person is here in Iran and is doing this, it has some effect, side effects or effects on him. But the message is so important. That's what I'm getting,
Anytime a person takes a solidarity stance, I think it's really important to just acknowledge that, because they're putting a lot on the line for what they believe in, and I really don't care what they look like, right? To me, it's just like, wow, I remember risking a lot to be able to kind of put myself out there, and I just see it through that. I'm just like, wow, that's amazing, and I hope it only is met with blessings, and if I can help anybody in that way, I know I personally would. Yeah.
So let's do some quick before she says this story. It's like, we have time? 2 seconds? 2 minutes? Oh, good. Okay. The ripple effect of rejection, the impact that it has on others.
Oh, just imagine this person has waited this long, has spent so much time thinking and strategizing how are they going to do something, and they get to that point where they do it, and it's met with resistance and rejection. The likelihood, it can break them.
Yeah.
What it does is I think it teaches them never to take that risk again.
That's right.
And it could have a very damaging effect on them, who they continue to evolve to become, their relationship with risk, their relationship with fear, their relationship with love, all of this. Like, it can put you in such a different place. And if we knew what it was that we were doing when we said the things that we said or did the things that we did, this is one of those moments where you would see a lot of people say, like, I wish I could have I did something different. And it will affect that person for the rest of their life.
That's
I remember the first time I experienced a rejection. It's as clear as day to me, right? And it was a long time ago. No.
Yeah.
It's like somebody etched it in stone, and it's there.
Yeah.
So
I think I have to say goodbye. I'm so sorry. It's like, it's amazing to learn from you so much in such a short time.
Thank you for having me, and I hope my level of detail was...
No, it was perfect.
Engaging.
You didn't go too much, because there's only one question that I didn't ask on this page. And so hopefully you'll make time to come back.
I definitely will.
I mean, I really love that you were here and you gave us such an enormous education today. So again, thanks again and again. And to our viewers, I will be back next week with another amazing guest. So please look forward, and I really encourage you to share this video with your loved ones. I always say this is an extremely important subject in our society, in our community, in our lives, and no matter who you're related to, they can benefit out of understanding about what programs I put on, especially the programs on homosexuality. So till the next week, God bless you all, and I'll see you next time.